Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here with Malik, curators of the Exploration Archive. We left Vasco da Gama last time at but what lies beyond those waves. What challenges will test their resolve as they plunge deeper into the unknown? The adventure has only just begun. Today we pick up where we left off. On the 8th of July, in the year 1497, the fleet finally set sail. The last rope slipped away and the hulls moved into the open sea. This was a moment of anticipation, but also uncertainty. The Atlantic lay before them, vast and unyielding, a reminder of both opportunity and peril. These waters were uncharted, and the men were stepping into the unknown.
The Atlantic was more than just water. It was a barrier. For those men, the shift from land to ocean meant surrendering control. They learned a new clock, one that ticked to the rhythm of tides and the call of gulls. The freedom of the sea came with the weight of uncertainty. This was no leisurely journey. It was a test of endurance and resolve.
Their first destination was a cluster of islands off the African coast. These volcanic shores welcomed them, a brief respite in their arduous journey. Here, they took on fresh supplies, but the underlying tension was palpable. Rationing was always on their minds. Even in moments of refreshment, the pressure of the voyage lingered like a shadow.
But this wasn't just a stopover. It was a glimpse of what lay ahead. The crew mingled with the local population, trading fruit for liquor and sharing stories. They mended barnacled timber, but the uncertainty of the voyage pressed heavily on their minds. They weren't just sailors. They were explorers grappling with their fears and aspirations. Each interaction was steeped in the tension of cultural exchange.
As they set sail again, the early weeks revealed a stark reality. The horizon promised adventure, yet it was the uncertainty of the sea that dominated their thoughts. The equatorial passage was a test of patience, with windless stretches torturing their spirits. Water became a measured economy, a resource more precious than gold. They were at the mercy of nature's whims.
That desperation for water and food wasn't just about survival. It was a reflection of their vulnerability. Navigators relied on celestial sights, bending the stars to their will. But what about the ordinary sailors? They created their own maps, drawn from gossip and superstition. The officers might have had instruments, but the men had a different understanding of the sea. Their knowledge was shaped by experience and fear.
Conflict brewed among the crew, a storm of disputes rising over rations. We all knew that these disagreements could undermine the very discipline we needed to survive. The captains felt the Crown's expectations weighing heavily on their shoulders. They weren't just leading men. They were managing a fragile balance. Every decision they made could tip the scales between life and death on that unforgiving ocean. In times like these, the stakes couldn't be higher, and the pressure was unrelenting.
And yet, Aurelius, you overlook the human cost of this voyage. Every crew member was more than just a sailor. They were individuals facing isolation and fear. Illness crept in, and scurvy began its cruel march. The loss of a comrade wasn't just a statistic. It was a shared grief that haunted the crew. This voyage was a crucible testing not only their bodies, but their very spirits.
You're not wrong about the sailor's plight, but the reality is that hardship breeds resilience. Each trial was a lesson, a stepping stone toward discovery. The ocean itself became a teacher, revealing both terror and wonder. Hidden shoals and unfamiliar constellations marked their journey, reminding them that they were not just navigating waters but also their own limits.
Resilience is admirable, but it cannot erase the toll taken on their lives. They witnessed beauty, like schools of creatures larger than any charted. Yet, for every moment of awe, there was also fear. The suffering was real, and the emotional burden heavy. This was not merely an adventure. It was a harrowing journey that tested their humanity.
Each dawn brought new challenges, and the ocean revealed its dual nature. They faced squalls that drenched them unexpectedly and a chill that crept in from the south. The journey transformed them. Men grew leaner and empty berths became reminders of their losses. The sea was a relentless adversary, yet it also held the promise of discovery just beyond the horizon.
But the real question remains. What lies beyond those waves? The challenges they faced were not merely navigational. They were existential. Each man on that ship was grappling with his own mortality. The ocean kept its own ledger, and the next trials awaited them just beyond the horizon. This journey was shaping them in ways they couldn't yet comprehend.
Indeed, the ocean kept secrets. With each passing day, they steered deeper into an unknown world, testing the limits of their endurance. The stakes were high, and survival depended on their resolve. The next leg of their journey would reveal much about their character. They were not simply explorers. They were pioneers of the human spirit.
That's where we leave it this time. Vasco da Gama continuous. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Exploration Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.